Welcome back to the show where we run you through all the Dolphins news you need to know about. After the news you need to know about, we run you through the fan Q&A where we answer fans' questions. First news story, really important story. It's crazy that training camp's almost here, and preseason is almost here as well, which is even crazier, which is pretty hype. But the Dolphins have injury updates on major players and what they will be doing to start training camp. This first news story comes from NBC Sports. These are the players that the Dolphins put on physically unable to perform list, the physically unable to perform list, PUP, to start training camp. Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, Cameron Good, and Isaiah Wynn are all put on PUP, so they can be activated at any time, but obviously they're going to be doing sideline work for the most part, still trying to heal at the starting training camp. Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips doesn't surprise me. Isaiah Wynn is a little weird. Don't really know why he's not back yet. And he's a big piece to the puzzle. Obviously Jalen and Bradley, but nobody expected them to be ready yet. But Isaiah Wynn was hurt in, I believe, week 7. So, and I can't remember what game that was, actually. I don't remember if that game was... I don't remember. It could have been... Sorry, my pug was distracting me. I can't remember if week 7 or whenever it was. It's just weird that he's not back. So hopefully he can get healthy soon. Obviously, interior offensive line, I think, is the weakest part of the team. Center's good. Guards are just a question mark as of right now. We haven't really gotten a consistent guard to play at a high level in a long time. I'm pretty sure Connor Williams is still up in the air. Omar Kelly has tweeted many things, but he has tweeted that he does expect the Dolphins to add interior lineman depth, which makes sense. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to get a starting caliber player. But again, we've talked about this so many times. We've talked about this a lot. But I still think that. And Connor Williams is still a free agent, by the way. But yeah, it's just kind of bad luck. But if Isaiah Wynn can come back healthy, and again, that was the biggest problem with him coming from New England, is his injury history is terrible. But he did actually play good football for us last year, and I do trust him when he's healthy there. Hopefully he can get healthy. Jalen, like I said, Jalen and Bradley, not a big surprise. Obviously, we're going to talk about more edge stuff with some of the other news that happened. There's some interesting things, and I think interior line is still going to be interesting. I hope Omar Kelly's right. And obviously he's been a long time Dolphins beat writer, so maybe he knows something. And hopefully they do at least make a move at that position. And especially they'll get to see it firsthand as training camp begins. This next news story is the most Dolphins news story of all time. This comes from Pro Football Rumors. Dolphins outside linebacker Shaquille Barrett announces retirement, which I can't remember. There have been so many Dolphins free agents that just didn't make it to the regular season. 2 that come to mind immediately is Dustin Keller and obviously Chad Ochocinco, Tannehill's rookie season. And I believe Dustin Keller was the next season. He didn't even make it out of preseason, and he blew out his knee. And that could have been a difference-making player that year for sure. It's I don't know what to think about this one. Again, this comes from Pro Football Rumors. Would have been a great locker room guy. Obviously fits the scheme, the Baltimore Ravens, Anthony Weaver style. Still a very good run defender, very physical player. Obviously, he's been around a lot of successful organizations and Super Bowl teams. It would have been nice to have him on the team. But a good mixture of good veteran people like Shaquille and obviously Calais Campbell. But again, I don't know what it is about us and not ever being able. Anytime we get an older player, it never ends well. Through the history of this franchise, very few times has it ended well. So yeah, very unfortunate. Who knows what would have happened with in terms of how does it affect the team? I mean, they did a really good job of adding. They must have known this was a thing. I think that was probably a factor in the draft. They did a good job of adding young players there, like Mo Kamara and obviously our first round pick, whose name I just literally just thought of his name. I forgot it. But obviously the edge rusher for Penn State, who I wasn't a huge fan of that pick, but I really do like Muhammad Kamara. I think Mo Kamara is going to be a really good player. So they did a good job of adding talent there, and we'll see where that goes. Obviously, those are unknown players, but who have high ceilings. So they did a good job of. There's a lot of depth there, and clearly that was every Dolphins fan knows that killed us last year. One of the many injuries that killed us was just having no edge rushers. I mean, even after Van Ginkel got hurt, it was just kind of an insult to injury at that point. So I don't think it necessarily hurts the team when it comes to depth. I think they did a good job of adding that, and I'm super excited to see what the young guys do in preseason and how Anthony Weaver uses them, because those positions, are, outside linebacker / pass rusher, which is just an edge player. Those are the staples of Ravens defenses over the years. So we'll see what the young guys can do, and then they're going to need to step up even more now. But I do have faith, especially in Muhammad Kamara, and I think he's a great scheme fit. And so I don't think this is the biggest hit in the world. It would have been nice to have him on the team, but I thought they've done a good job of adding a lot to that position in the offseason. So I don't think it's that bad. This next two stories comes from Pro Football Rumors. This comes from NFL Network's Cameron Wolf. Miami will host free agent edge defender Emmanuel Ogbah. It's weird that they're hosting him. They've known him for, 4 years now? Some people have brought up stats of him. Pass rush wasn't that bad last year. And yes, some people have brought up the point that he is a better fit in this scheme than he was in Vic Fangio's, because, a lot of that relies on your front four and playing coverage behind it. And this defense is a lot more multiple. There's bigger fronts, so maybe that'll help Emmanuel take a little bit of pressure off of him because he's an older player. But in my opinion, I just don't think he's the same player he even used to be 2 years ago. He struggled in preseason last year pretty bad. It was pretty noticeable. Anytime he was on the field, we were worse in run defense. He's just not the same player he used to be. I don't know how much of an upgrade he is. He's a good edge player. I don't know if that's true anymore, though, in my opinion. He's better than someone. I mean, what else are you going to do at this point in the offseason? But he doesn't fit the outside linebacker role. He's more of an interior end. Maybe he's going to have to beef up to do that, especially in a Ravens defense. It's 3-4. Like I said, it's a bigger front. Bigger, players. Obviously, he's going to be playing more like on the guard than he would be on the tackle. So, and that's, again, those players, what they're mainly meant to do is to stop the run. The outside linebackers are obviously more relied on to rush the passer. I'm obviously stating obvious things right now, but that's the worst thing about his game right now is run defense. I don't know what else they would do. Maybe just give the young guys a shot, but they really don't have. And it's weird because Shaquille would not have played that position. They added Calais Campbell, who clearly is going to play that 3-4 end position. He's going to play nose tackle. So maybe, I don't know what they're going to do with Emmanuel, but he is not an outside linebacker at this point in his career. He's his hand in the dirt. I just don't think he can do that at this point in his career. I don't think he ever really was meant to do that. It's more of a 4-3 end. But I don't know what they're going to do with him. Like I said, I would, and maybe they should have taken one in hindsight. Even though I really like the draft, maybe we should have traded up to get Newton from Illinois or something like that, because that is a position that's kind of sneaky thin, and I'm interested to see who plays that position. I'm really interested to see, and maybe I don't know. That's a good question. Marcus Golden and Carl Lawson are some of the other players that they list that could be free agent targets. But again, Carl Lawson is not. He would be more of an outside linebacker. Marcus Golden obviously is also more of an outside linebacker. And this is the thing with Shaquille Bear. I don't know, but like Ogba wouldn't fit that role. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't think they need to do anything. I think they have good young players there. Maybe they make another move. I don't know. We'll see what they do. But again, I don't think it's not a desperate thing that they need to oh, there's a huge hole there. They still have depth, a lot of depth, and a good rotation there. I'm really excited to see the young pass rushers. It is bothering me why I just completely forgot our first round pick's name. But yeah, I'm really excited to see the young pass rushers, and that's probably that, and obviously Malik Washington. I'm really excited to see in preseason as well, and training camp. Jalen Wright's another one. Those are the players that I'm most excited to see. So yeah, next news story, quick one. Running back Kenyon Drake retires. Obviously, miracle in Miami. 2016 playoff run. He was a huge part of that win on the road in Buffalo. Where Franks, I believe he was our kicker at the time, sent us into the playoffs. That was the last time we beat Buffalo on the road, which is crazy to think about. Jay Ajayi and Kenyon Drake had a great game. Matt Moore, who actually did have a really good game in that game as well. It went to overtime, and Ajayi ended up putting that game away on a big run in OT, but that's the run that I remember Kenyon Drake the most for. I know some people say miracle in Miami, but that year was just so miserable. That game was awesome, but that season sucked. So it was, I don't know, something about that Buffalo game on the road. That's what I really remember him for, doing that kind of pirouette, going down the sideline for a 60, 50-yard touchdown. It was an insane run, and it was a fun backfield. So that's what I remember Kenyon Drake most for. A very fun player. Sucked. He was in one of the worst eras in Dolphins history, in my opinion. After 2016, the Adam Gase years were just terrible, like almost unbearable. And so yeah, it sucks that those years were. But him and Ajayi especially. That was really like the last time we had a good running back until this previous season with A-Chain and Mostert. That was a long time, and we had to deal with Myles Gaskin and Zavon Ahmed for a long period of time. With Duke Johnson coming in every once in a while, Kalen Ballage sightings, those were rare. Those never happened actually; they weren't even rare. But so those were like the last two really good running backs we had, and then it took this long to get A-Chain and Mostert in the same backfield. But yeah, and shout out to Kenyon Drake, obviously Alabama player, really great athlete. This was not a natural. I feel like he was just more of a weapon than he was a natural running back. So we have one more thing to discuss, but I have to know, what the heck is this dude? Why can't I remember his name? I don't know why I can't remember his name. It's freaking me out. And I'm gonna remember it before I even look it up. Chop Robinson. I don't know why I couldn't remember his name, but yeah, I'm excited to see Chop, especially because I'm Chop is not my kind of defensive edge player that I tend to like, which sounds so weird to say something like that. Strange thing to say, but he's not. So I'm interested to see how he looks, especially against the run. And I can't remember our preseason schedule, but I hope we play like some power football, because power run teams. I don't remember who we play, but really test out. Run at Chop all training camp. Really, I want to know what Chop's got and run defense wise. What the heck was I gonna say? Last thing that we will discuss, this whole Tannehill situation, who's still a free agent. I hope the Dolphins, in an alternate universe, I would hope the Dolphins would sign him, because everybody who's listening to this right now, if there is anybody listening to this right now, is going to be like, they hate Tannehill or what for whatever, I don't know. But he would be one of the best backups in the NFL, and if, God forbid, Tua got hurt, he could save our season. So, I don't like Mike White. I think we've seen enough of Mike White. And I think Tannehill would be a great story, him coming back to Miami. I think I would love that. I think a lot of fans would like it. At least I think so. And he's still a good player. And he would be one of the top 3 backup in the NFL. And he, like I said, could really save us if we needed him. So, also would be super hyped to watch that in preseason. That would be really fun. So, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. And, yeah. I'll see you guys in the next one. Crazy the season's around the corner. I'm so excited to see some of these young players. Especially on offense. It's going to be really fun. And I'm excited to see these edge rushers too. And Jonnu Smith as well. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in the next one.